Informally, it is your reunion po, your class reunion.
91 actually from airport.
So, nauna po sila Captain.
Sila Captain Vic kasi came from the academy. Ako, I was a cadet of the Air Force Academy. Sila PMA, Philippine Military Academy. Pero we're classmates during the flying days in the Air Force.
So what can you say, Cap, about your flying days?
Flying days!
When you were together with your batchmates?
Sabi ko nga, it's been my passion since bata ako, according to my mom, yung flying.
Oh, so childhood days pa lang po?
Correct. Nakikita na raw ako ng parents ko na I'll be into flying kasi I love toy airplanes. Tapos toy soldiers, siguro that's why I joined the Air Force. My flying days, siguro I love most of it when I was in the service. I mean in the Air Force. Kasi when binata pa ako so matapang pa ako, di ba? Hindi pa ako takot, wala pa ako anak, di ba? So yeah, combat missions ang nililipad ko na. I flew the UH-1H, yung helicopter gunship. Yeah.
So nung first time niyo pong makapag-maneuver ng helicopter, did you experience na matakot po at first?
Yeah, pero excitement normally took over palagi. Siguro it's my passion na kasi talaga. So it's the excitement that is, comminable siguro dun sa flying career ko. Ayun.
Captain, from your perspective, di ba you said you were a pilot of Philippine Airlines? So how would you describe the family life as a pilot?
Okay, so sabi ko nga, nung naubos yung tapang ko, I joined the commercial flying na lang, diba? So, yeah, plus the perks of course, diba? You get your family free to travel, diba?
Yes.
Normally, every time I fly, kasama yung anak ko, kasama yung misis ko, so we travel for free. And I...
What can you say about your life as a student?
English yun, pwede mo Tagalog.
Translator ka?
Okay.
Okay, ano yung wala mo siya? Sige po. Okay lang po yan. Facts lang po kung paano po kayo as a student. Nagkati po. Asa po?
Mga estudyante ng Alpha Aviation. Kaya babalik sila, magtutuloy sila ng type rating.
Natapos sila yung SPL.
IR.
Instrument rating. So, doon po sa mga
explain nyo yung IR.
Before for IR, like SPL, APL, CPL. How was your life back then? Was it hard?
It was challenging at first, ma'am, pero as time passed by, nakaya naman namin. Gusto talaga namin eh.
So I'm guessing childhood dream.
Yes.
What can you say about aspiring female pilots? Kasi normally puro halos naman, ano puro male pilots ang nakikita. But what can you say about aspiring female?
Ano naman ma'am, kaya naman talaga nila yun. Pantay lang naman tayo.
Exactly,
Yes.
yes.
Opo.
We have equal opportunities.
Opo, pares lang talaga yan. Basta eager lang talaga mag-learn and matuto.
So, during your first solo flight, how was the experience?
Super
Kabado po ba?
Oo, kabado naman. Pero
Pero excited. Nangikibabaw na kayo. Excited.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Morning.
I'm sorry, so one of the
Okay.
original po from Fatima University.
Fatima Valenzuela.
No, Pampanga campus.
Pampanga, okay.
Yes, okay. And so, what is your name again, sir?
Commodore Ferdinand Velasco, retired.
Retired. From Philippine Air Force.
No. Yung Air Force kasi General Johnson. Ako,
General Johnson.
Navy, former Navy officer, and then I retired sa Coast Guard.
Okay, sir. So, I want to know lang po your thoughts about being here in Alpha Aviation.
Wow, ang ganda.
What can you say about the facility and the establishment
Actually,
itself?
I was overwhelmed, no? Kasi nga, di ba, when I saw this one, I thought walang ganito eh. I just seeing yung nandito sa labas, hindi ba?
Yes.
Sa labas meron
Yes.
siya doon. Na along the SC text. And then, dito sa loob, this is the first time. Kaya when I asked General Johnson about it, sabi ko, may aviation school ba sa loob?
Yes.
Meron ba? Alpha, yun, eventually. Then, Google ko na lang. Google Map, nakarating ako.
Yes.
Na naman.
Ayaw nga po eh. And by the way, sir, natuloy na po ba kayo dito sa loob?
Not yet, this is my first time to be here.
So this is your
First time to be here.
And what are you feeling right now naman po that you've been reunited with Cap Vic after almost 33 years, if I'm not
tagal na,
mistaken?
yes.
Same batch po kayo, right?
Yeah.
From class 89 Makatao?
89, yes.
So, how are you feeling naman po as of the moment? Now that you are reunited with your batchmates?
Well, nostalgic. Just like the good old days.
Can you share some of the experiences you've had at the flying school?
Flying school, yes, actually, as General Browner, darating yata. No?
Yes po.
Okay,
I agree.
then ganito, no? Flying school, I also took yung some formal schooling sa flying, aviation, particularly doon sa Volco helicopters. Okay, so but then again, I was given the opportunity to choose. Continue the flying, supposed to be the flying school, or to go to Europe and study at the World Maritime University for 2 years. So as I said, then I'll take the master's degree. So hindi na ako natuloy ng flying. But I'm flying the fixed wing helicopters, search and rescue helicopters.
Oh.
Before. But then again,
So, ano po ang feeling na nakakapag-maneuver po kayo ng ganong klaseng aircraft?
sabi ko nga, everything, especially for example, the helicopters. General Rayos din, sa yung ngayon, yung head ng Air Force Education Training Command sa Lipa, di ba? I was dyan lieutenant senior grade, or yung equivalent rank niya is captain in the army. Okay? Sabi niya sa akin, can you go with me flying with the MG 520 attack helicopter? Kung naalam niyo yung maliliit yan the MG1. Then sige, I can join you as back ride. Sa likod kami. Then pilot, tapos may dalawa. Together with the late, yung namatay na Marines namin, na si Colonel Teodoro. So, yun talaga. That's the ultimate,
Yes.
in as far as maneuverability ng for a small helicopters na sobrang hindi naman yun. Up, down, left, right. Talagang matindi.
So,
Kaya sabi ko nga sa'yo, aviation is,
yes.
diba?
Yes.
Definitely it's a skill.
Yes.
Then you have to learn it. Hindi mo yan makukuha you have to acquire it for a period of time to gain proficiency.
What can you say naman, sir, about female aspiring pilots po?
Wow, that's it. Lalo ngayon, di ba? For example, graduate ako ng academy. Before, during our time, 1980s, all male yan
Yes.
It's a machismo academy, no female. Okay? But then again, nagkaroon ng change sabihin natin ng culture. Then they started accepting, I think, as early as 1996, the first female batch. So how much more dito sa aviation when it comes to dapat hat-trick.
Yes.
Whatever, lalo naman it's skills eh. And yung skills naman, di naman limited lang yan sa lalaki.
Yes, but
Diba?
it can be developed
Even
over.
if you know siguro yung daughter ni Lucio Tan, di ba? Female pilot yan, and then ulit the CEO na. Di ba?
Yes, boss. So that
So
can be
walang issue as far as gender,
Yes.
lalo ngayon, ano? On all aspect, makakita ka nga ng mga CEO na mas matitibay, mas magagaling pa than the male counterpart ng
Yes,
CEO.
po.
So, I don't see any ano doon as far as aviation is concerned, lalo na sa aviation.
Yes, po.
Okay? Baka mas diligent pa nga mag-aral yung babae.
Yes, po. May
Diba?
chances po.
Oo.
Yes. Hindi po natin na-underestimate yung mga power and capability
Basta
ng isang
equal
babae.
opportunity, alam mo
Yes.
naman di ba? Oh, sige. Thank you
Thank you
for
so much for your time.
Okay.
Thank you, General.
Thank you.
Now that
You are here at Alpha Aviation. Is it your first time being here?
no, actually we were the first. This was Clark Aviation before.
Yes, no.
We were the first persons who occupied this place. I was still in Cebu Pacific at that time, and Clark Aviation opened, and we did our simulators here when I was still with Cebu Pacific. So, binubuksan pa lang yung mga opisina. Yung first batch ng Clark Aviation at that time, which is now Alpha, we were the first ones who stayed here and utilized the simulators. So, we're looking forward into developing Alpha Aviation more to make it bigger and more relevant, especially that the aviation industry is turning around.
Yes, po, exactly.
Di ba? Right now, we're still at way below pre-COVID levels. Probably, yeah, because of COVID. So, probably, we're still down 20%. But the forecasts are showing that probably by the end of the year or early next year, we should be on 100% pre-COVID levels.
So, Capik mentioned a while ago that you were a flight instructor. What can you say about the difference of being a flight instructor and a pilot?
Pilot, there's no difference between
pilot
the...
as in flying, actually flying, and being in the ground school.
Of course, it's more fun teaching it in flight, no?
In an actual aircraft.
Yes,
right?
yes. Especially naging magkasama kami ni Captain Vic noon, and we were in flying school, the Philippine Air Force flying school at that time. So, since it's a military training, we could do anything and everything with the airplanes that we used. We were authorized to do aerobatic maneuvers since these unusual attitudes are being used in combat. So that was part of our training before in the Air Force. But being a flight instructor requires you to become also, you should be first a ground instructor before you become a flight instructor. Because you need to know the basics. Yeah, para yun ang ituro mo sa taas. Diba? Yes.
Cap, I'm curious, when did your love or passion for aviation start?
My dad is an Air Force pilot.
So you were infrared.
Yes, especially when namulat na ako sa mundo. I grew up in Basa Air Base, Pampanga. So
I'm from Lubao, Cap.
oh, my wife is from Lubao. Yes. So I grew up in Basa Air Base, and I saw my dad flying the jets before. At that time, it was the 1960s, and we got brand new planes from the Americans at that time, since they were still here in the 1960s, and we were the strongest air force at that time in ASEAN, and we were patrolling Sabah, the West Philippine Sea at that time. Not me, my dad, the free fighter, was doing that mission for the Philippines. Napakalakas ng Air Force. even now naman,
Yes.
nagmo-modernize na tayo. So, I'm looking forward na fully modernized. At least by the time I've reached my senior age. So, natutuwa ako na the Air Force has developed and modernized a lot from the time that I left the Air Force. Yes.
Since you mentioned about modernization, Kap, do you think technology is a great or helpful tool for students to develop their flight training skills?
Yes, of course. Especially the young ones who are more tech savvy than we are, they easily adjust into flying these more modern planes. If we're talking about the Air Force, or are we talking about the Air Force jets, planes, or the commercial?
The aviation industry as a whole.
Okay, as a whole, the industry is developing so fast na what do you call this? If you are not tech savvy, hindi ka makaka-cope doon sa technology ng paglipad ngayon. That's the problem in commercial flying ngayon eh. The new pilots, meron din kaming kagaya ninyo, may millennials, may X generation. Sa pilots, meron din ganon. Kaming mga baby boomers, we were exposed to the old types of plane until we transitioned to the more modern types of plane. So nakaka-adjust kami pagka itong modern from old planes, nakapag-adjust kami to the newer planes, and we are able to fly the highly computerized planes. Pag nasisira yung computer, you have to revert back into becoming an old pilot, flying it manually. So that's the dilemma right now of the whole industry, na we've become too dependent on the computers. Na pag nag-fail yung computer, you have to become the old pilots that fly it manually. So, the trend now is trying to develop competencies for you to be able to fly the plane even if the computer fails.
Yes, technology will
Dati, nung pag mga kalimbawa, nag-train kang bago ngayon,
yes.
I will have to train you to adapt to this new technology. Kasi computer yan, garbage in, garbage out. If you don't program it correctly, hindi siya lilipad ng tama. So, ngayon, pag nalilipad na perfect na ng mga kabataan na gaya nyo, yung paggamit ng computer.
Somehow, yes.
Yeah, diba? So, lumilipad ng tama. Kaya lang, pag nag-fail yung computer, that's the problem na. Although maraming backup na computers, if they fail with the very remote situation na mag-fail lahat, no? Marami kasi backup eh. But pag nag-fail, it all boils down to you doing it on your own. So, yun ang training. Ngayon, that's the modern way, and Alpha Aviation is in the forefront of developing the different style of teaching and grading students now. It's not just, para mas madali nyo maintindihan. If I teach you how to drive, pasok ka sa driving school, di ba?
Yes.
Tuturuan kita mag-drive ng sasakyan. No? Marunong ka mag-park, marunong ka sa highway, you know the basic things. Pero not only that, yung pagka you experience traffic that is quite unique. May nagaganon yung masasakyan. What do you do? How do you decide? How do you think? So, yun mas more kami sa decision making process. Not just basically magaling ka mag-drive na pipinahan mo yung kalsada, yung tama yung likod mo, nakakapag-park ka sa very tight situation. We bring you to a higher level of thinking. Kasi especially sa taas, pag nasira, if something's wrong with the plane, you just cannot stop.
Yes.
sa kotse pwede kang huminto eh. Sa tabi mo lang. Buksan mo yung hood, gawin mo. Sa airplane, you need to continue flying. If you stop, you drop. Diba? So, kami, speed is life. Speed and height is life. Kasi if everything else fails and all the engines skunk out, we will glide it to the ground. We can do that. See, you remember yung Hudson River, yung airline pilot who landed the plane in Hudson River kasi nagkaroon ng na bird strike yung mga dalawang makina niya, namatay lahat. So he ditched the plane into the Hudson River and everybody survived. All pilots can do that.
Parang may movie yun ka.
Yes,
Hadyan?
yes. Ano ba Hudson River?
Parang alam mo may movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, thank you so much for sharing your insights and knowledge.
Yes, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.